Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Dobbs here. It's Friday, the 15th of July, 2022, and there seems to be lots and lots going on, doesn't there? You know, we've got a million different stories to choose from. No one really knows what's about to unfold or how this is all going to go. But before we get going, before I talk about the crop circle, I posted it earlier. I posted it before I went to bed last night, just so you can look at it, just so you can kind of you know, it's been probably the best part of 3 weeks from the point it was discovered to the point it was actually recorded. You know, and it was a friend of my partner whose handle I put in the description. Can't remember what the exact handle is, but it's not his name. It's the handle he uses because he's a bit of a, well, I don't know if they call them quad pilots, you know. Anyway, that's gone up there. So I thought I'd show you a few of these recordings. Before we get going, let's just cut to the chase of what this is really all about, because we're going to come to, what are we going to come to? Is it, let's just share this screen. This was a shot just posted on the 14th of July. So this was yesterday by Planet X Hunter. I won't play the video, but this is the object in question. In my opinion, I might have this completely wrong. You know, you're going to have to go and explore this video because I haven't got permissions to run it, and I won't run it or anything after that. It's an incredible bit of some incredible shots there, but that, in my opinion, and then of course we've got Mr. MBB 333 who just posted that image, and that was posted also on the 14th of July yesterday, and you can just see the side of this object. And so just before we keep, we're also seeing here, just going to come over to Brandon Corey Nagley's shot. This was posted this morning, showing debris coming in the daylight sky. Guys, you know, this is really, this seems to be really happening at the moment. Where do I see this? Well, let me just stop share on Shake and now just go over to where I see all of this right now. So we're just going to come to, you know this one so well, that's from 262. Remember, three days of darkness, earthquakes, all across Asia, all across Europe, all across Africa. That's exactly 1,800 years. This is what we're coming to, right? This is what we're coming back to right now. And let's just go forward to 1,000 years after Christ, and we're almost opposing. And now let's come to Galileo's time. You know, 1588. You had the massive storm. You know, the Armada was setting sail. They believed they were going to bring retribution for Britain breaking away from the Catholic Church. This was a revolution against the Catholic Church, or maybe this was a very different story. Maybe we've all been massively misinterpreted what actually happened in the days of what was the disillusionment of the monasteries in Henry VIII's time, that led to this point where this massive Spanish Armada, greatest fleet to ever set sail, even in today's terms, comes in 1588. And what month does it sail in, believing the gods are on its side at that critical time? It comes in July. So the ship sets sail, and that's when this massive tempest just comes in. Surely the inspiration of the works of Shakespeare, especially the first play, The Tempest. Then we go 84 years later, we have kind of like, we're getting closer. This is kind of where we are now, but now we're the same thing. It's just, we're really closer, but this is Isaac Newton's time. This is William Herschel's time. This is kind of Neptune time. Then we're coming around to Pluto, 1930. And we come up to 1940, 1939, Carlos Ferrada's massive prediction where he says on the 20th of January, 1939, a massive earthquake's going to occur in Chile. And everyone should be really prepared because it's going to be a massive thing. All we're doing is going to war and running that narrative. Sure as eggs are eggs, he's right on the money, a massive earthquake occurs. And now we come to our time. I've been watching this thing coming around every kind of 12 years, the largest objects that come round. And then we see this grand cycle, and to try and bring all of these players together, we're going to remember 2011, 2010, 2011. You've got objects, some of the objects are coming in and coming this side of the sun, not looping around, but some of these objects are now coming all around. And now we have 3 objects in question. The same 2 objects that caused 2010, 2011 are coming back round to do their big cross now in 2022. They're coming, and then straight after is this big one here that I've got called Hydra. And so we're experiencing these, but basically one of the twins and the big blue one that I've called Hydra, that sometimes I call, I accidentally called it Hydra because this model was a work in progress to try and understand what happens when these objects pass through the ecliptic plane of, that's what happened in 1930. The system, it came up, it came under, and then over, and then round, and then it's crossing back here, except that now we understand. My understanding is that this system here, the Pluto system, is one on the actual fixed ecliptic plane, and we are the one on the ecliptic. And that's been the big transition of my message in all of this. And so let's now stop that share, and look at this crop circle again, but putting it in proportion. So we're going to go to or is it that one? Let's try that one. Yeah, so what I've done here is there's the crop circle from up above, and it's very difficult for you to work out. If I just bring it over here, you'll see this juncture here, this kind of dogleg juncture. You'll see it. Can you see how this main road cuts on through, and this one comes down and then continues? There's a really weird dogleg sort of juncture. But it's so interesting that the crop circle happened right there. Remember, this is like 3 weeks after the crop circle was discovered. It was we finally got it zoomed. I didn't really hear about it until, well, I didn't hear about it, I don't think, until after Glastonbury. But and it looks kind of out of a line a little bit, but if I just let's just put it in proportions to what we're seeing. So I've got the Ordnance Survey. That's so north is straight up. So I've got the Ordnance Survey there, or Google, and I've just laid that over the top and put the junctures, remembering that this, well, I don't know if the exact angles are exactly above on either shot. So I've just tried to do the best I can. But, and then if I just keep it going there is probably the best way I can show you that. And these look random apart, don't they? So these kind of look, yeah, they look kind of random apart, but this line here looks, I mean, remember, this might have distorted because of the 3 weeks. Week could have moved around a little bit, people walking inside of it, just changing the little bits of it here and there could have massively affected, people walking up and down these corridors, just cutting across here or something like that. But what's quite interesting is that this, even though this they all seem unequally kind of like positioned. It's almost like that is meant to align with that one. That one is meant to align with that one. And that one's meant to align with that one. Have I got that one, that one, that one, and that one? And then this. Now, isn't that interesting that the ecliptic line for us, from that perspective, looking down, you would have thought that would have been along that way. It's difficult to say really what the message is, but it's quite interesting that the line, you know, my east and west line would have been that way, and the line is just below. Like, that is of a mind of kind of what I'm imagining is the difference. That is the true ecliptic. That could potentially be indicating the true ecliptic of our ecliptic. That gives you an idea of the difference of our ecliptic to that ecliptic, because our ecliptic would be running level like that. Potentially that is the message there. And potentially, if that was the case, that would be more talking about the big central sun, not our sun, and then our sun and the Pluto, Aries, Uranus, Neptune story, that this one is all the same. And, you know, I don't really know. Other people have said it looks like a spike protein of some sort, you know, so honestly, I truly do not know. It's a marvel. I feel truly honoured to have it so close to, you know, to my girlfriend's place, because, you know, I often talk about how where is it? Let me just come out. Let me just stop that share and just come back over now to with share screen and come back to what was it called? I think it's Google, but I've always struggled to see these. They seem to move around. So I'm going to come back to Google and move that out of the way. And come back to this shot, which is the video I made is, well, the fabled planet X was Pluto all along. And I show you our sun and Pluto orbiting around that in motion with this kind of arrow here, and bring it across. And if you carried on zooming right to those two were massive, you would basically have that. Obviously, this is moving that way, but potentially I should show you it moving kind of that way. That should be kind of tilted 45 degrees to get a better kind of like, to get a better, no, well, no, maybe not. I mean, you know, it's a, but there it is, you know, the three primary players, and the crop circle does kind of give you that idea of those three primary players with these different objects. And we've seen our planets kicked onto an ecliptic, and its planets kind of like around this bigger object kind of have this perpetually changing as the two systems pass through each other. But isn't it interesting that I discovered that in 2020, when this was discovered, as far as I know, in Mexico in 2020, and I discovered this image. I'm looking at this thinking, oh my God, this is a sign of how our solar system would be depicted in terms of giving it flight and energy and movement, and empowering your idea to believe that you are on a permanently moving energetic space. You are not fixed. We don't have a fixed place in the universe. We are energy moving. And I discover this, and I show my girlfriend Rach, and she's just like perplexed, because she thinks she's seen it before. She thinks it's the crop circle that she went in 2009, and then we get the two up, and it's just like, oh my God. it's the same thing, and it's the same message, and it's the same discovery. And so it's bringing us all together if we want to see that we're part of a much bigger system, that our minds, who we truly are, has been hijacked. Something has happened to humanity that's made us forget who we are, forget our cosmic connection to who we truly are on this planet. That big break could have happened in the time of the disillusionment of the monasteries, when we were told that Henry VIII was knocking down the monasteries. It could have been a very different story. They could have been the energy centers. There could have been a whole different story. You know, this whole story, these whole stories of Tartaria and the mud floods. Everything's up for grabs at the moment in terms of what's happening. But guys, it's looking like we're about to have a big flyby. And all I know is that every time this flyby is going on, we are charged into all our different stories that lead to kind of war and crisis and everything else like that. And then this thing comes in, and what would have happened is that, it's like you kind of hold a crazy face and it might kind of stay. These ideas are crossing your eyes and it might stay. Well, if they can plunge the earth into a low vibration at this critical point, it's like we kind of stay in that space. We can only be a singularity through this whole point. That's why I wrote Laughing Gas, to try and tell you that your soul is like attached to your heart like that. But if you choose to let go of it, to take hold of something else, then whatever the human state is attached to will be the residing soul of the human through this transit. And so you've got to try and keep your vibration super high through this transit. They're going to run all their crazy stories to try and plunge our vibration down. We've seen this coming round and around and around every year, and I can't truly tell you if this is going to be the closest flyby. But guys, all the shots coming in is, the shots last year of this thing that Brandon Corey Nagley put up, and other people who spend time capturing these shots and getting them out there, showed us these same kind of red. Do you remember? Let me see if I can find Brandon Corey Nagley's channel and just go back to a year ago. It was shots like, see that one, I don't believe that will be a recent shot. He's got that 4 weeks ago, but that he'll be showing something of that is basically what we're looking for. Let's go to a year ago, 6 months, 8 months. Yeah, and these are the shots we were kind of getting. And they were, this is after it's past us, but it's been well above us and it's gone over the top, and we just see it as a silhouette. We can't see it when you're like that, when it's between us and the sun, unless it gets really, really close to the sun, and it is getting close to the sun. But if the light rays hit our atmosphere lights up like a sun in itself. It's our atmosphere that is super bright. If I shone a light in your face in darkness, you see the bright light and darkness all around the light. We see our whole sky lit up bright neon blue. And that is because it's making all this light. We can't see beyond that into space unless the object behind is brighter. And that's just very unlikely going to be the case. So this thing looks like crazy lights and what have you. But guys, we're like, we're just going to see what happens now. But I've got a funny feeling this is going to be a real critical time. And so just big golden rings of light around you. We don't know what's going to happen now, but it's looking like big things are up there. And there's big announcements that K2, biggest asteroid we're going to see in eons, is about to fly by. Everything, all your normal stories, the reinvention of the same thing going round and around and around and around. And we've done this since Galileo's time, since Isaac Newton's time, and we kind of like, just to break this whole story out, to try and break you away from that notion there, that you live in a system that is flying along super fast rather than this static, unenergetic model that we all have that doesn't work when you apply any of the orbital mechanics of the orbital objects we've seen. You try to build models, you can't make any of them work with the current model. By giving the sun movement. We've got to come out of our silly model. It's time, guys. We've got to see the bigger picture. But you know what's about to happen. This is going to be a big test on all of us. And this is the big fabled valley of darkness that is coming upon us now. And it's just a story they're throwing at us. And we don't have to plunge our vibrations into terror and fear when they blow the whistle. And maybe we may be more protected than you might ever kind of believe, but keep asking for divine help. Keep putting your hands together saying, dear God, please help me through this time. Keep asking help. Keep asking for help. Keep asking to help you keep your peace. Think of flowers when you're scared. Just try and think of flowers. Even if chaos is going, try and think of daffodils and beautiful flowers in your mind's eye. Trying to everything around you to help people around you be calm through this. And breathe through it, and let's just all do the best we can. So much love, so much respect. Thank you so much. Take care through this time.